Thank you, baby. So
Yes.
everyone, this is Jaye Wilson. Jaye is, let's see, she is fierce as, she's fierce. Sorry. Whatever, y'all know what I'm trying to
Okay.
say. Okay, she is though. She is a mom. She's a nurse. She's the founder of Melinated Moms. We're going to talk about this. I'm excited because all the things I'm going to say we're going to talk about. But she is an advocate for birth and mothers and services for moms. And we're going to talk about something amazing that she was a part of here in New Jersey. I know, see that smile, you know. But here's the thing, as all the stuff that she has done, she is very, the best. She's very humble.
Oh, thank you.
You're
I
very
have to.
humble. Yeah, you're very humble about your greatness. You're very humble about the changes that you affect. You're very humble about the way that you go about making change. That's the way I'll put it. You're very humble about the way you go about making change because it's powerful.
Thank you. Thank you. We need that. We need to see
Yes.
people who are ready to create change and be a part of it, you know. It makes it real for other people and it helps them to see the changes possible within themselves. So to me, I'm just living a regular life. Like I'm not trying to do anything super duper special or put on this cape. Like this is really just how I genuinely feel. So, you know, I'm just very grateful that God put this in my life as like my path and my journey. So, you know, I'm just along for the ride. Jesus got the wheel. I
Um,
don't know what else is happening.
I mean, that kind of rolls right into, well, who in the world is Jaye Wilson? So see, so part of that, y'all just kind of found out a little bit about, but who is she? Like who is Jaye? If someone were to ask somebody else who knew you and say, well, who is Jaye? Not just what you do, but who are you?
Um, I feel like it's a complicated answer. It really
It
depends on
usually
when
is.
yeah, I mean, it really depends on when you met me, like at what point in my
Uh,
life,
I
right?
like that.
So, um, for people who've known me for more than 10 years, they don't even know me as Jaye. They know me as Jatisha, which is my full name. And I was very meek, still very driven, but a very devoted and type A personality. Um, I was a wife. I was very on top of my motherhood. Um, but my personal identity, I really had no idea what it was. I felt like I I disappeared because I had to wear all of these other hats for
Right.
all of the
Right.
other people that were very important in my life, but I had no identity. So once I transitioned out of being a married woman to being a single mom, um, I had to figure out who I was. So, you
Hmm.
know, the reinvention
I
and
know.
yes, girl. The
Oh my gosh.
reinvention and rediscovery of who I am really led me to like understanding a hashtag that I use all the time, which is hashtag journey to Jaye. So I had to learn who Jaye was and who she is and who she's becoming. It's not a one sentence answer. It's not a
Hmm.
complete story. I'm still writing it. I'm still learning as I go. So
It
to
is real
me,
talk.
it is. Hey
Yes.
girl, hey.
Yeah.
So you know, I feel like now who Jaye is a confident, dynamic, multifaceted woman who's like excited to see what else the next day is going to bring. Like I literally am just very grateful to wake up every day and just be like, oh my God, I get a chance to do this all over again.
Yeah.
Let's see what
Yeah.
else I can do. Let's see what else I can build. Let's see who else I can impact and who else can impact me, you know? So I guess that's who I am.
No, I love asking that question because first of all, everyone's like, well, who the hell am I? That's one. And then two, everyone, as you start talking, you start to go, hey, there's all these things that make up the woman that's sitting here right now.
Right. Yeah.
And once we start to really understand that it's the accumulation of every experience,
Mm-hmm.
every up, every down, every devastation, every joy that creates the person who's talking right this moment.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And to know it's continuous, like
That I love about what you just said. Yeah.
yeah, because we often think that the decisions that we make in life have to be final. Like, I have to be this by this. If I don't, then I'm a failure. Or
Right.
I have to wear this hat, and if I don't, it's not a success. It's not this, and that's not it. Like, life
Mm-hmm.
is ever evolving, and you have to be able to evolve with it. It's people who stay
True.
stagnant
Mm.
that can't really experience the yes, it is becoming. It's
Becoming. Yeah.
yeah, you can't really experience all that life has to bring you and show you and teach you if you only stay stagnant and only try to focus on that one thing, you know. Another word or phrase I like to use about myself is I'm like very ADHD. Maybe not like diagnosed, you know, clinically, but I'm very like chaotic, like what is it called, organized chaos. Like
Yeah, that
yes,
sounds
like
good.
I can see so many things and I'm like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to figure out how to make this work, and I'll find a way in my head to bridge all of these ideas and to create it into something that's really dope. And it, like, I don't feel like I would have been able to do any of these things, and no slight to anyone who's married, but I really don't feel like I would have been able to find any of these things if I would have stayed in my marriage, because
I
I
don't
was
think that's a slight because marriage itself is not for everyone,
yeah,
period.
yeah.
Period. So it's not a slight. Some people work well within and
Mm-hmm.
some people work well without.
Yeah, yeah,
Different human beings have different needs.
I
So
agree.
I don't think it's a slight. I think it's you understanding what works best for you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like I'm my most happiest, I'm my most creative, I'm my most open and expressive. And I feel like I have such a better connection with my children as a
Mm-hmm.
single parent. Not
Right.
slighting my ex-husband, but like being like, yo, I can breathe, I don't have to ask for this or hope that this happens, or you know, put all of these random expectations because I'm married or because I'm attached to this thing. Like, I can just kind of like free flow, and that makes me feel more fulfilled um in all facets of my life, both personally and
Right.
professionally.
Now, professionally, you are a nurse. So
I
let's talk
am.
about that. Because
Okay.
let me tell you, first of all, the job itself is not an easy job.
It's not. It
It
is
is
not.
not an easy job, just in general. But
Yeah.
now with hospitals being overrun and there's all like, what led you to be a nurse, and then what is it like now to be one?
Honestly, my nursing career started in high school. So I went to maybe not so great high school, but they had a vocational program where a lot of us got to experience different avenues of the workforce. And the
Mm-hmm.
program I was in was called Health Allied Medical. No, so it was called Health and Medical Allied Careers. So they let you experience different types of healthcare careers. And
Mm-hmm.
in your junior year, you got to pick which career path you really like fit you best. So I saw like the things from like front desk clerk, or like a medical clerk, or secretary, medical assisting, surgical tech. I saw all of these different avenues, and then they also offered nursing. So I was like, oh, I think this works. I can figure this part out, and it really drew me because it challenged me to think, but it also let me care. Like it gave me like that
Mm-hmm.
intersection of critical thinking and looking at a person as a human and not just a number, or not just, you know,
Right.
a piece of something. So that started me into nursing. I went to college and had all these great college experiences. I went to school like out of state, excuse me, but I kept going back to nursing being like the root of what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I took a couple different jobs, but the job that registered the most with me was working in community health. So, in total, I've been a nurse for 15 years. It'll be 16 years coming up
Wow.
in April. I know, super long time.
I love it. I love it.
But for 10 of those years, I spent it at a community health center in Manhattan called Callan Lord. It's a awesome, progressive healthcare community center that's geared towards the LGBT community. And that was actually not only where I learned a lot of my critical thinking and how I base the healthcare that I provide to patients, but I also learned about advocacy. So they taught us.
Now, I'm sorry, can you go back? What's the name of it again? Because I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, Callan Lord, Callen Lorde. And it's actually the namesake of two activists, Michael Callan, who passed away in 1992 from HIV, and Audre Lorde, who's a famous poet. Everyone,
I know Audre Lorde. She's one of my favorites.
She's amazing, right? I love her. And they named it after these two people because of how passionate they were about the LGBT community, also about them having healthcare that was not just stigmatized by their sexuality. So I learned a lot about how people engage in in healthcare decisions and how they take care of themselves. It starts with making sure they have a positive relationship with their healthcare provider. Right. So in that space, they taught us so much about respecting the patient, meeting them where they are, removing your judgment, doing harm reduction as opposed to like the finger wagging, like you shouldn't, you can't be, da 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 da. And then again, it taught me about advocacy. So I don't know, a couple years in, they started actually taking us to Albany. And they started taking us to Washington, D.C., and we got to learn how to lobby and speak to these people. I call them the change makers, speaking to lobbyists, speaking to senators and legislators, and talking about these healthcare bills that, specifically helped our patients. But overall, these were still human rights. These were still civil things that people needed, regardless of what their sexual orientations were. So that, to me, like ignited what was really important for me as a nurse, but then also knowing that as a nurse, I am an advocate. So when I decided to leave that job, I've been gone now 3 years, I think. I was able to transition that into my own company. And at first it didn't make sense. Like I was like, oh, I want to kind of get away from nursing. I don't want people to know me just as the nurse, because that's it. Like they'll put you in that box. Like, oh, the nurse said. No, I don't want to just be the nurse. I want to be the advocate. I want to be this woman that you see as so many other things besides just that one, Right. So once I started getting into learning how advocacy works for maternal health and women's rights and reproductive justice and teen health and teen pregnancy, social determinants of health, all of those things, how it matched up with motherhood, I was like, oh, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. Duh.
Sorry. Like, that was my dryer.
It's all good.
My very exciting life. Sorry, y'all.
Clean clothes are always allowed. Listen, I'm telling you. It's all good. So yeah, I mean, that's really it. That's really what got me into advocacy. That's what sparked the idea for Melinated Moms. One of our patient populations there were patients who are same-sex couples who wanted to go into parenthood. So we had a alternative insemination program where we helped them to get pregnant. And once the
this is through Melinated Moms. You're doing that too?
No. This was when I was at Callan Lord.
You do a lot with Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Not yet. We're gonna speak that into existence though, but no, we ain't there yet. When I was at Callan Lord, they had this program, and I will always ask, our patients come here for a very specific need and a niche, right? They have this progressive health care that sees them for who they are, that honors their sexuality, that honors their walk in life, and now they want to go into parenthood. Why wouldn't we take care of these patients? And just operationally and logistically, OB care, pediatric care, those things are also lucrative in terms of medical. So I'm like, I don't see why this isn't a good match. And they wanted nothing to do with it. They're like, oh no, it's too much of a liability, blah, 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 blah. I get it. you know, so they would refer the patients out. But I always felt like we've done 99% of the work getting them to the point of pregnancy, but now we're just throwing them back to the wolves. You know, I feel like there was like a missing piece of these patients not having support going through pregnancy and going into parenthood. Who can be their support system? What would that support look like if it was me, you know?
Right.
So, again, once I left that job, I started my company, and I really was trying to figure out like what all my bits and pieces would be, right? I knew from my own standpoint what support looked like for me, or what I needed it to look like in the moment, and how I needed it to transition. So I started a meetup group and started meeting with different moms and started talking to them about what their motherhood journey looked like, blah, blah, blah. And it kind of just progressed into hosting more community events and opening up the conversations and asking about how can we be the support system that you need? How can Melinated Moms be that space that you need? You know, and it just kind of grew from there. So, you know, we had different moms from different backgrounds, you know, some same-sex couples, some military moms, some everyday moms, some working moms, some stay-at-home moms, and it just kept continuing to build, you know? So just kind of where it went.
So the Melinated Moms filled in definitely a need and a void, and it became a support. So there's advocacy, and then there's that support.
Yeah.
And it became that, it sounds like.
Yeah. And sometimes you don't even know what kind of support you need. So you don't know, like, you don't know what you don't know. So you don't know what to ask for. You don't know who to ask to get to that right resource. So as we started to build, we started asking the women who were following us, like, why are you, not in a funny way, but like, why are you following us? Like, what drew you?
What you want?
Right. Like,
what
drew you here? Like, who sent you? But I like, really, like, how can I be what it is that you see? How can I provide you with the resource that you need wherever you are, you know? And it just kind of, it went from there. It
sounds like what you're also doing is just making sure that there's enough of a platform that they feel comfortable, so that they can sort through whatever's going on in their head, because you're right, people don't even know what to ask for sometimes. So at least with you're saying, here's this wide open platform, no judgments, all love, all support. And then if people have that, then they're able to like relax a little bit, and the stuff that's in their heads can just come on out.
That's it.
And it feels like that is what you have given. That's what you are putting together, so that everybody else can get what they need.
Exactly. And in turn, it's coming back to me as well. So, you know, there are many times where I needed the support that I'm trying to offer, and I felt very like weird saying like, oh, how do I ask my community? And I'm like, you can't have that thought and also be that platform. Ask your community, reach out. Like, that was the whole purpose of creating this space. So, you know, telling moms and telling women, like, it's okay to be vulnerable in that space of asking for what you need, or putting that out there to manifest a positive response, you know? That actually makes you stronger. It doesn't make you a weaker person. It doesn't take away from your motherhood or your womanhood. It actually embraces both of them and creates a sisterhood bond. And that is really, to me, what support is supposed to look like.
Well, we have to break down that the wall, the societal thing that says that if you ask for help, you are weak.
Right.
I can 100% sit here and be vulnerable and tell you I am that person. I never, ever, like, asking for help means I'm weak. I'm not weak. I'm a bad bitch. What? I will never ask for help. What? So as you're sitting there in your bad bitchesness, and you're screwing up all over the place, and you're
yes.
But you know, you're sitting there all like, I got this, I can do this, I don't need help. And then you are slowly spiraling. I don't know if anybody, I feel like the preacher. I don't know if you hear me though.
I hear you.
You know, but
I hear you.
You know, where you're spiraling, continuously spiraling down, because you need to not ask for help because it's weak. When in actuality, asking for help can only make you stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And asking for help is bold.
It is. It is.
It is bold.
But it's a bold step that you would take in any other avenue when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to your life. You know,
Right.
if you want a promotion, you have to speak up. If you want to educate yourself, you have to apply. If you want to have a new car, you have to go to the place where they sell cars. Like all those, you have to put yourself in position in order to create the change. So if you're not ready to do that, then you sit in the corner and you cry about it. But I'm not about that. I'm about that action. So advocacy to me is action. It's creating a new space for
Advocacy
us.
is action.
Yes,
Yes, it
ma'am.
is.
Yes, it
Yes, it
is. We're gonna put
is.
it on a t-shirt
Yes,
and
it
sell
is.
it.
And put it right
But
here.
but that's what people need to know and see, you know, and for me, representation is the best thing for
Mm,
people to be able to emulate it, right? So
right.
I'm very aware that whatever I'm saying or whatever I'm doing, I'm
Action.
also
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
Cece, I'm all about that action. You already know.
Action. Yes.
I know that anything that I'm putting out here into the world, I'm also creating a space of representation. There will be other women that are going to come behind me and young girls, like even my own daughters, that are going to come and say, okay, if she can do it, I can do it too. She looks like me. She comes from where I come from. She understands my
Mm-hmm.
struggles. She understands my triumphs. She knows that there are peaks and valleys to everything. She gets it, you know? So me being humble about it is real, but I'm also very aware, like, this humbleness comes with a fight. Like, I know that there's still more things that I need to do. There are more walls I need to knock down, but I also am very very open to continuing to have more people around me and more people that can surround me with the right energy to keep moving forward. Because some days
Right.
we don't feel that strong, you know, and that's where you were saying, like, with the vulnerability comes in. Some days I don't have it. I'm just like, I just gotta cry in the corner today. I'm gonna have to reach out.
Oh my God, the corner, the center of the room, the front porch.
Because it's true, you know, it's so
Yeah, it is
true.
true.
Yeah.
We're not so strong that we can't ask for help.
No, no, no. But that is the strength, you know,
Yeah.
knowing that you can, and knowing when people show up, they show up for you, you know, and they know that you'll do it in return, and it's not for money or fame or clout or nothing like that. They like, yo, I'm gonna show up because she always show up. She show up for
Right.
me, I have to show up for her, you know. So
Setting that example though, because
yes,
sometimes
ma'am.
people don't have the example of showing up.
Mm-mm.
Sometimes they just don't have it. That's that. Sometimes it's just that simple.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm
Um,
willing to be that. So I'm just
good.
grateful to be able to do it.
You talked about advocacy and learning from Callan Lord. Is that it?
Yes,
Callan
yes.
Lord. So
Mm-hmm.
learning your advocacy from there, learning how to lobby, learning how to talk about legislation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about one very specific piece of legislation. I'm so proud of you.
Okay.
Um, okay, see, she's like, okay, let's just talk. So, so let's tell the people out there. Oh, child, sorry. So let's tell the I need it. Sometimes mama needs a fan. So let's tell the folks just to keep it real all the time.
That's a pretty
So
fan.
yo, if I'm gonna have a flash, I'm gonna take it away in a
Fashionable flash.
fashionable
Yes.
way. So let's talk about the legislation that you are a part of, that you in the state of New Jersey. We'll talk about it. I know it's in New Jersey, but let's just talk about if it's going elsewhere. But after we talk about what the legislation is, how it came to be, and your part
Mm-hmm.
in all of this. Go.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man, it's so much. So for the state of New Jersey, was it 2 years ago now? Our current governor, Governor Phil Murphy, he signed several bills into law that enable doulas to be covered under Medicaid, which, you know, that in itself breaks a lot of barriers for
Mhm.
Black maternal health. He also signed into legislation, C-sections are not going to be allowed to be given as an elective. as opposed to an actual medical necessity. And honestly, so let me move back because I feel like I need to give context. So the purpose of the bills that he signed actually came from the birthing statistics of New Jersey. So out of the 50 states, New Jersey is in the bottom 5 of a positive birthing outcome, specifically for Black women. We're number 47, which is horrible. Our women are 7 times as likely to die in childbirth, and our children are 3 times as likely to die before their first birthday in the state of New Jersey. Now, I've had my own birthing experience. I have 2 children, and one of my 2 children were born here in New Jersey. And my personal experience was very traumatic, but I'm grateful to be able to say I've got to the other side, because there are a lot of moms who have not had that story, you know. Going back a little bit, when we started hosting events and stuff with Melinated Moms, I hosted an event called Childbirthing in Communities of Color. And the purpose of the event was to create an open dialogue and discussion about what birthing looks like in our state. We had doulas come, we had moms who've experienced birth. And we also had a doula that was a grief and loss doula, a hospice doula, who also gave us a whole new perspective of things. But during this event, someone from the First Lady's office actually was in attendance, and the event went well. They came up to me.
First Lady of New Jersey, by the way, everyone.
Yes, sorry. Yeah. The governor's wife, the First Lady of New Jersey. So they came up and said, this was a really great event. The dialogue was amazing. We really liked how you put everything together. We have this new initiative called Nurture New Jersey. And the purpose is to bring more awareness, education, and change to the birthing statistics for Black women in the state of New Jersey. We're looking for people to be a part of this. Would you be interested? I'm like, yeah, pay money? Yeah, let's figure that out. Yeah. So I got involved, started hosting more events, connecting with more people. I connected with the New Jersey Black Caucus, which is assembled of so many amazing assemblymen and women, and even Senator Rice. And they were like really on top of what Black maternal health looks like in New Jersey and what it needs to look like very moving forward with creating a progression and change, and knowing that those changes can only happen with people who look like us at the table. Right. So fast forward, I was invited to actually do the opening address for Governor Murphy when he was signing these bills into law. So this was May 2019. And it was great. So, I got to share my birthing experience and my story. I also got to talk about Melinated Moms and why those things coincide, and how it was an honor for me to see our politicians, or the people who are creating change in our state, take Black women seriously and put us at the forefront of an issue that needs to change. It's not just for cover, it's not just for show. It's really creating new ways to improve, The First Lady's initiative is to improve birthing outcomes by 50% over 5 years. So at the beginning of this year, January 2020, or January 23rd, 2020, Maternal Health Awareness Day, she released a statement saying that she wanted to create a maternal health strategic plan. I was a part of that team as well. And it was all of these amazing epidemiologists and all these people that are like way above my education grade, but they all came together to make sure that we're putting all of the things that the community needs at the table or in the plan, and rolling out a plan of implementation. So my part in this entire plan was coordinating and hosting focus groups, bringing more moms to the table, and then explaining to them what the strategic plan has, what are the recommendations, if they feel like they can work, if they had additional recommendations, and how we can include those things into the plan. And then we also went a step further this past November, actually, and the First Lady held a Maternal Health Summit, and we actually got to have 16 of our moms who were a part of the focus groups to be a part of that summit as well.
Wonderful.
So not only was it like I was there representing my organization, but to have other melanated moms there who also had their experiences and also are able to express themselves and get to understand what advocacy looks like from a legislative point of view was like phenomenal. And the entire event, I actually had to turn my camera off because I shed a couple thug tears. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, oh, they can't see this. I gotta turn this camera off.
Oh my God.
But it was so beautiful because the entire event was literally like 6 hours long. And from beginning to end, they talked about the impact that Melinated Moms had on creating this strategic plan and making it something they can see moving forward. So to me, that was like such an amazing like accomplishment that I never even expected, you know? Like I'll often think like, how did we get at this table when 3 years ago when we started this, we were just like some moms sitting in the park watching our kids run around. Like,
I love it.
This was not the plan, like, you know?
You never know where the growth is going to come from.
You don't.
You never know.
The great part about this is the progression of this led to me also being involved with the Black Maternal Health Caucus, which is federal, and that's actually out of Washington, D.C. That's led, oh my God, I'm so excited by this. That's led by Representative Underwood and Adams, these two amazing dynamic women who are literally like, we're going to change what birth looks like throughout the country, not just in one state, not just in one county, not just in one city, not just in this little area. Like they put together these 9 bills that encompass moms in so many different facets, especially the moms who feel invisible or feel that they have no representation. So like one major bill that stands out to me is the bill for incarcerated moms. I don't want to cry. I feel like incarcerated moms have such little representation and like just like sympathy of understanding that regardless of their crime, they're carrying a life. You know, they're carrying somebody that can do something else besides the circumstances of, you know, where their mother is. But to know that moms are still, you know, incarcerated moms are still giving birth in shackles or are still like not being able to have adequate prenatal care. Like, why is that okay? You know? So of these 9 bills, like that, to me, that's the one that stands out the most. It really resonates with me. I've had the opportunity of going to prisons and, you know, meeting with different moms and understanding their stories. And that's something that I would like to continue to do also. And then also knowing that we can create programs within the prisons where you can train the prison women to be doulas so that they can be that support there, you know, because they need that. Like,
they do.
Of all the things that you will be vulnerable in throughout your entire life, birth has to be like top notch.
Top, like right up there. Yeah.
For real. It's like top 3 at least, you know? So to know like you have somebody there and you have a bill that is a national bill that recognizes the importance of that is phenomenal. And I was very fortunate enough to be there right before the shutdown, in March at the Momnibus reception. And so I got to see them release these bills, and talk about like how all of these different politicians, and literally it's over 100 different organizations and politicians who have signed on to these bills. So this is major. Like they are creating
That is
something
major.
that never has existed for us, you know, and we're
Yes.
often so forgotten, so dismissed in almost
Mhm.
every single facet, but we still show up, we still fight, we
We
still
show
do
up, we
this
show out,
work.
we fight, we kick ass.
That's it. That's it. That's it. So, you know, I'm just
Yeah.
very, very grateful to say that I'm a part of that. Our senators, Senator Cory Booker, he's signed on to like all of these bills. He's been a huge advocate for it as well. So, you know, we have a lot of work planned to work with him and work with other of our legislators for our state, but also continuing this work and knowing that it doesn't just stop here. It's not just a New Jersey problem. It's not just a DC problem. This is something that is national. And also for us, like it's an international awareness thing as well. So Melinated Moms has been able to connect with women in other countries, you know. Some of our biggest followers are in the UK and Australia. And I'm like, totally didn't know that we were there. Not
But it
not
totally makes sense
it
though,
does. With the
because in
Aboriginals
those
and
communities, as lovely as it is out there, it's still the same.
absolutely.
Still going through the same things.
And those are the things that they tell me. Like, I'm so glad this exists because I didn't know that we had this. We didn't know that anyone saw us. We didn't know that we belonged in a place like this, you know? So again, I can't say it enough. Like, I am just so grateful to be a part of this. Like, I feel like I'm kind of like on the side looking. I'm like, oh, girl, you there? Oh, yeah, we there too. Oh, that's you. You gotta go and talk.
That's
Oh, you want
you.
to talk to me? Oh, okay.
Yes.
So it's just constant gratitude for me. Like I'm so grateful for all of these things, and I know that this is just the beginning. So it's so
It
much more to
is.
come.
So what are some of the initiatives or projects that you are trying to work on within Melinated Moms? Because it seems like, yes, we know that you are a nurse, so we've got that. That's the career. But through Melinated Moms, that's where you have the passion is already in the career, but now here's your passion project,
Yeah.
your passion purpose. So what are the other things that are coming out in your passion purpose?
Yeah. So I want to give a shout out to coronavirus because
Oh my
um
gosh,
yeah, I
really?
know. It is the worst, best thing that has ever happened to
Mm.
me being able to catapult Melinated Moms into my full-time passion. So it is no longer my business is not my side chick. This is what I do. You know, when everything happened with COVID, I'm a single mom, so it was like you can choose to go and work in spaces where you will constantly be exposed to COVID and wonder how you're going to quarantine yourself away from your two children that you are the sole caregiver for. How can I do that? So I was like, I can't. Like I can't choose between am I going to sacrifice my life on the line working, taking care of people and doing what I love, or am I going to take care of the people that I brought into this world and figure out another way to monetarily take care of them? And you know what I'm saying? So I had to make that decision. I had to step back. And once I did, like the universe was like, great, let me show you what you can do once you step back from that space and now you've stepped into your purpose. So we've had amazing opportunities to create more community engagement events. Obviously, we're all in the virtual space. Once we were able to like dive into that, my work just like tripled in like a month. So I'm like, oh crap, now I need to like figure out this, you know? So we've been doing focus groups. We've done several workshops with one major organization here that I love, Advocacy for Children of New Jersey. We've been working with them since, I want to say it was like May or June, doing different advocacy events, bringing more awareness to maternal health, more awareness to, what was the one event that we talked about? Public policy. We talked about systemic racism, how it started from years ago, and how it
Centuries
also,
ago.
yes,
Yeah.
redlining. We talked about how all of those things all are continuous problems that still affect us and our communities and different communities of color. So we just actually signed on to a new project with them where I'm so excited about this, where we're going to be doing a parent advocacy training and work group. I actually wrote a book for it. It's called Find Your Roar.
See, I
So
was going to talk
excited.
about the book. Give me a minute, but that's okay. That's part of the whole what's coming up next. But
I'm
anyway,
gonna
go
put it
ahead.
out. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna put it. But
Yes.
we're going to do this training. It's called Find Your Roar, and what it does is it teaches the parents how to speak as a social impact speaker. So understanding that whatever you're advocating for, you want to create a social impact, a call to action. So it's not just talking about it, it's putting the action behind those words and
Yeah,
then
about it.
talking to the people who can create the change that you want to see, but knowing that you also are a part of that person. You're a stakeholder at that table. So ACNJ has partnered with us to provide the training. It's actually starting in December. And starting January, we're going to be doing the work groups, preparing these families. So we're looking for moms, dads, grandparents, guardians, anybody who rears a child between the ages of 0 and 5. They'll join the group. We'll do the work group, and then we're going to take it to the state in May. And they have an event called Strolling Thunder, where we want real parent voices to talk about these issues that really impact early childhood. So the 4 issues that they're focusing on is quality childcare, home visitation programs such as doulas, community health workers, home care nurses, excuse me, maternal health needs, and infant mental health. So finding early intervention programs,
Mm-hmm.
finding different supportive networks and therapies that will help your child thrive from 0 to 5. Those are the things that we want to advocate for. So my goal is to teach parents and families, you are that first advocate. You are your child's first advocate. From in utero, you're advocating for their well-being. You're changing your diet. You're changing the way that you interact with the world. You're preparing yourself for this new milestone that's going to come. So once this baby gets here, the advocacy doesn't stop. Your child comes
It
out, they can't talk.
continues. All the stages.
Every.
Every single stage.
So now
Yeah.
we're learning how to utilize our voice on a macro level and talk to these people who may not be aware of these issues, but we're going to make them aware and then tell them, so now you know, so how are we going to change it? Let's create another set of bills. Let's create another set of movements in order to create the change we want to see in our communities, and that's something that's I really want to drive home. Melinated Moms is for communities of color. That's Black women, that's Hispanic women, that's women who are Indigenous. Those are the women who feel that they have no voice, they have no place, they have no stay. They do. They belong here. I'm a girl now. I'm about to be on my
The
preacher.
soapbox. Oh,
Yep, girl. I'm about to say,
it's okay.
raise your hand for
It's
the
okay.
Lord. Too much.
Well, okay, so you kind of you touched on it, but let's talk about your book real quick.
Sure.
Let's talk about it, because your book is coming. You're about to be an author.
I know. Oh my God. I'm so excited. So the book is called Journey to Jaye. Or sorry. Back up. We didn't
No?
get there yet. We didn't get
Yes.
there yet. That's
Yes.
the second book. Find Your Roar. So
Yes.
Find Your Roar is the book. It's also a course. So again, what you will learn is how to be that social impact speaker, how to go into communities, how to create the change you want to see, what community engagement looks like, who you are as a representative. And it also catapults you into that space as it can be your stepping stone into a higher advocacy role. Maybe you want to apply as school council, or learning more about your local government. Apply to be the mayor. Who knows? But these are the tools that you will need in order to see advocacy from that lens. Because all of these people that we vote for at every election, they are the change makers. They are the people who are going to create the changes around you that you want and that you need. But we often have this inaccurate vision of these people being so untouchable. They're not. They're just like you and I. So this book is going to teach you how to break down your life experiences and how to make you more valuable and more marketable as that speaker, and as a person who can create those changes. You don't need 10,000 degrees. You don't need $1 million to do it. You need to be willing to do the work. You need to be willing to stand up for what it is.
That dedication is everything.
That dedication is everything. That's what this book is about. So I cannot wait. It will be released in December. I am so excited. It's been a very long time coming. So that's
Will it be an ebook or Kindle, or what are we doing with?
Yeah, so the first release is going to be an ebook.
Okay.
And at the beginning of the year, I think the release is February or March for the physical book. So it will be available after that on Amazon and all the other spaces. But for now, we're releasing the ebook. It will be available on melinatedmoms.com. So you guys look out for that. Again, also look out for that training, so you'll get the book and all that stuff all wrapped up in one. So I'm excited.
Finding your roar.
Yes.
Love it.
Find
book
it.
And training.
Mm-hmm.
So I am like, oh, you've got a book. No, you have a book and a training. So this is practical.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. My goal with this is to actually bring this into other spaces that educate us. So community colleges, workforce development programs, the Department of Labor, really going into places where people don't even expect, like, oh, a public speaking class. Oh, okay, this is cool. Oh, I get to learn about this type of public speaking, because it is a niche of public speaking, right?
It is, because people always think of public speaking as just standing there in front of a podium, behind a podium, in front of a crowd, and just speaking a certain way. It goes way beyond that. It's being able to put your ideas together, being able to present them properly when you are advocating for yourself, for your child, for the community, whatever it is.
Yep. And knowing what your call to action is, because sometimes people think you just want to be up there and just talk. No, like, you have to know that there's something else that I'm delivering in this message, right? So a free tidbit I give people is you got to be down with CED. So it's connecting, engaging, and delivering that message, right? So you're going to connect with your audience however you do that. Is it social media? Is it through email blasts? Is it in person? You want to engage with them. You want to talk to them and figure out how you have like-minded issues. And then you want to deliver the message that they gave you to the people who can create the change, and also bring them with you so that they can see the changes that they gave you as feedback actually starting to change. Because that's really what people look for, right? Like, we see so many companies and organizations come into our neighborhoods and ask us 10,000 questions about how it is to live here, and drink your water and all the other stuff, but then they disappear. We don't know what they do with the data. We don't know what they've determined. Our approach is to have you there along the entire process, so that you know that you have created change, and then if something does not happen, knowing what the accountability process is, holding that person or those entities accountable for the things that we want to create, we want to see change in. And if we don't see it, like, hey, we talked about this. I was at the table with you.
Right.
What are we going to do? I'm going to hold you accountable. Just like they'll hold us accountable. We're going to hold you accountable too.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Let's
happening.
so the future for you as an individual, as a mom, as a leader,
Oh
you
man.
know, it kind of goes back to in the beginning of this whole conversation where I'm like, who is Jay Wilson? So now let's like take it to another level. So, you know, we're winding down. This is like towards the end, and this is a good
Yeah,
time for you to just say, what is your future? What is Jay's future? You have all these hats.
I do.
Um, so what's the future of you as the individual holding all those hats, wearing all those hats?
Um, I'm gonna still stick with my first answer. It's ever evolving. Um, I can tell you what I would like to see is more retreats. Hint, hint. More.
She came on my last retreat.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I can't. You have no idea. I can't even explain how great that was. But honestly, I think retreats are important because we often put so much time and focus into all of this work, but we never get to stop and smell the flowers. So I feel like that's what a retreat really is. And I really want people to see that and change the narrative of it. Like, it doesn't mean that you're like being lazy or whatever. Like, and in my head, these were the things I used to say, like, oh, I can't go on a retreat. That means I'm being lazy. No, it don't. It means that
I got
you,
things to do.
yeah. Like, I brought my laptop. You was like, girl, put that thing down.
I know.
I'm just gonna bring this. No, you're not. Put that down.
I know. Girl, the first thing I am is mama to everybody. I'm like, oh
Mm-mm.
no, see.
No. Oh my God. But you know that retreats. That's definitely like my number one. I really want that to be on my next Journey to Jay thing. Second is my next book, which is going to be called Journey to Jay. I've been writing that for over a year now. I want to actually get it finished. Um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, anything else? I mean, really just learning how to still love this work. Hi, Amber. That's my sister. I love her. Really learning how to love this work
Yeah.
with my kids, because the real push behind going into entrepreneurship for me wasn't the money part, because that don't show up first.
Oh,
It don't
can I
show up
get an
first.
amen to that?
Amen,
Oh my
amen.
God. Amen,
Praise
amen. It's from this
that's
entrepreneur over here. Yes.
that's it. But to me, entrepreneurship allowed me the freedom that I needed to be able to see my children and watch them grow up and be a part of that process. When I was working as a nurse, and again, I loved my job, I loved everything that I did, but it was so taxing on my personal life. And while I was making all this great money and all this other stuff, I would come home completely drained, and my kids would go, well, mommy, when are we going to spend time with you? When are we going to see you? When are we going to have time for you? Or when are you going to have time for us? So when I transitioned into entrepreneurship, that was always my primary focus. It's like, don't get so wrapped up in the work that you forget the purpose is to be with your children and to have the flexibility to watch and grow and be a part of their growing process, you know? So that's my journey. That's my upcoming, that's my continuous
Yeah.
business model. I have to always have time for those two people, because I'm grateful that they chose me to be their mom, and there will be no Melinated Moms if I wasn't a mom. And like my little one always tells me, she'd be like, make sure you tell them I'm your marketer, and you tell them that I'm the reason that Melinated Moms is here. I'm like, I know,
Oh
baby.
my God, the children always want their due, don't
She
they?
listen. That one earns her keep, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. She does. She earns it. But she really helps me to stay focused, you know? Because there are
Yes.
days where I'm just like, oh, there's so many projects I gotta. She's like, just sit down, mommy. Here, I'll rub your feet. Let me make you some tea. We're gonna do this. Let's spend time together. So they help me to
Sweetness.
see. She is Amber. So she helps me to see that there is a balance. That's what
Yes.
entrepreneurship is for me. That's where I want
Mm-hmm.
this to go. That's where I want to continue to grow.
Yeah.
That I'm gonna just keep saying the same words, girl. That's it. it's so much more coming. I don't even
I
want to
know.
like
I know.
bore you with it, but I'm grateful. I am very grateful because 2021 is about to be lit. COVID or not, we about to be lit.
It's gonna be lit.
It's gonna be lit, on fire.
Wait,
on fire,
though, I always ask people to give like a last. Give me some last words. I'm gonna have those as your last words. It's gonna be lit.
It's gonna be lit. Oh my God, you have no idea.
Oh my gosh. Oh, thank you.
No,
oh.
Thank you. This is like amazing. I'm so grateful that you have me on your platform, and I'm so grateful that you're my friend. And it's like
honey.
So many things is just going to continue to come from what we're doing, and like this is just the beginning. Absolutely,
I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely believe that. And I absolutely believe that you are not just destined for greatness, but you're already there.
Oh, thanks.
And I believe that you will continue to hold these platforms so that people that need to find a way to express themselves,
mm-hmm.
give their voice to uplift it. I believe you are an amazing conduit for that.
Thank you. I couldn't do it without you, girl. Listen, it's so. Listen,
we got to keep leaning on each other, but
That's
it.
No, it feels good though. It really feels good. Hi, boo. Aw, Kwani.
Jaye is awesome. Absolutely.
This is what I do it for. I don't. This is the money is the bonus, but the feeling and the purpose, that's really what it's for. You know, like knowing that this is creating a space that is authentic to me. Like I don't feel like I'm trying. Like wait till I try. Like this is me like just living my life. Like once we get more things in motion, it's gonna be crazy. This is building a legacy. You know what I'm saying? Like
yes.
Like my kids, these are things that I think of when I think of parenthood, right? Like when we have our kids, we want our kids to have all these things and see all these different parts of life that we may have never been able to experience. This is the part I wanted my kids to see. This is what I want them to know, that I'm leaving for them. I'm creating this legacy with them, not just for them, so that they know like every part of what Melinated Moms is, it only exists because they do, you know? Like that is the legacy. That's what we're doing.
That is amazing. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on today, babe.
Yeah, girl, anytime.
I appreciate you above and beyond. I appreciate you above and beyond, honey. Yeah. So, and I and I got to give a shout out to my soror Celine and Helen, because they were both like, hey, you two should know each other. How come y'all are doing all this stuff and you're not like this? So I want to give them a shout out for putting us in each other's spaces, and because the connection was immediate.
Absolutely.
It was immediate.
Yes. Thank you.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, love.
I'm
excited for everything you've got going, and I'm excited for all the things that we're going to get going. Everybody will find out about that stuff later, because it's not about me, it's about her. But everybody will find out about that stuff later as it comes along.
Yes, but it's coming.
It comes along.
We on. I appreciate it.
With that, before we go, we got to do a body roll.
Hey.
2021 is lit. Hey.
I don't got no more hair, so I just I pretend. I cut it all off.
What you got is gorgeous.
It moves a little bit.
Who knows how much more I'm going to shave off? We won't even go there.
I'm going to be with you, though.
But I love you tremendously. I love you more than cooked food. Oh, my God.
I love you, too.
I love you, baby. Thank you so much. And everybody, thank you so much for watching, for listening, and for being inspired.
Thank you. All right. Bye, boo.
Bye, babe. Bye, baby. Later.